I don't tell the story often because every time I do, I notice people reacting before I even get to the worst part. Like their bodies already know what's coming, even if their minds don't. And I think that's because this isn't the kind of fear that jumps out at you. It's the kind that slowly convinces you that you're wrong for being afraid in the first place. And it started one afternoon in a public place. Somewhere loud, crowded and ordinary. The kind of place where you feel safest because there are too many people around for anything bad to happen. Or at least that's what we were taught to believe. I was sitting on a bench near a transit platform, waiting for my ride, scrolling on my phone, half listening to an announcement echoing overhead, when I noticed a man standing a little too close. Not close enough to be obviously threatening, just close enough that I became aware of him, without wanting to be. And at first, I ignored it. It's because what you do, you tell yourself you're being dramatic, you don't want to offend anyone or cause a scene. But then I realized he wasn't looking at his phone. He wasn't watching the screens, wasn't checking the schedule. He was watching me. Not in a quick glance kind of way, but steadily, calmly, like he had nowhere else to be. And when our eyes met, he didn't look away. He smiled, small and polite. The kind of smile you'd return automatically to a stranger. Except I didn't. Because something about it felt wrong. Rehearsed maybe, like he had practiced it. And after a few seconds, he turned and walked away. And I felt ridiculous for being relieved. Till about 10 minutes later when I stood up to move closer to the platform and saw him again. Ready there, already positioned, as if he'd known where I was going to stand before I did. And this time he spoke, asking a harmless question about the schedule. And I answered because there was no reason not to, because nothing bad had happened yet. And that's how it works. The bad part never comes first. And he nodded, thanked me and stood beside me as if we were both just waiting. Except every time I shifted my weight, he shifted too. Every time I took a step, he adjusted. Subtle enough that I couldn't point to it without sounding paranoid. When my ride finally arrived and I got on, heart beating faster than I wanted to admit, I felt that rush of relief again, that false sense of victory, until the doors closed and I saw him standing inside the car with me. Not surprised, not rushed, just there, like this had always been the plan. And I moved to another spot and he stayed where he was. It somehow felt worse because now I could feel his attention without seeing it, like pressure between my shoulder blades. And when the car stopped and people got off, the crowd thinned, and I became aware of how few of us were left, and how quiet it had gotten. And that's when he came closer again, lowering his voice, telling me I dropped something earlier, holding out his hand, empty. And I shook my head, said no, and tried to step past him, and he leaned in just enough to block me without touching me, still smiling, still calm. And he said my name, and my stomach dropped so hard it felt like falling, because I knew in that instant that this wasn't chance, that he hadn't just noticed me today. And when I asked how he knew my name, he laughed softly and said I wasn't very careful, that people share more than they realize, that they think being surrounded by others keeps them anonymous. That the car stopped again and the doors opened. Didn't wait to see if he'd follow. I bolted out into the crowds, heart pounding, weaving between people till my lungs burned. And I didn't look back until I reached a security desk and stood there pretending to check my phone. And when I finally dared to glance around, he wasn't there. I told myself it was over, that I'd imagined most of it, that fear had filled in the gaps. And I went home shaken but intact. And that night I slept badly, waking up to every sound, replaying his voice in my head. and the next morning I almost convinced myself that it had just been a close call. Till I found a message request on my phone from an account with no photos and no posts, just a single sentence that said, "You should really look your doors earlier than that." And my blood went cold because I knew I hadn't told anyone where I lived, not online, not anywhere in public, and over the next few days the message continued. Never threatening, never explicit, just observations. Things he shouldn't have known. Comments about what I wore, when I lived, who I talked to, always framed like a friendly advice, like concern. And I went to the police eventually, but without a clear threat, there wasn't much they can do. That's the part where people don't like to hear. That sometimes knowing someone is dangerous isn't enough. The message stopped after a while. Abruptly, no explanation. Weeks passed, then months. And I started to breathe again. Started to believe that whatever game he was playing had moved on. Until one night, I was back at the same platform. Different season, different clothes. Telling myself I was reclaiming something. And I felt it before I saw him. That same pressure. That same certainty. And when I turned, he was there. Older maybe. Maybe I just noticed the details more. The lines in his face, the patience in his eyes. And he didn't smile this time. He just nodded like we were acquaintances running into each other again. And he said I'd done better lately, that disappearing like that had almost been disappointing. And something snapped in me. Something tired and angry and done. And instead of running, instead of shrinking, I stepped closer and looked him in the eye and told him clearly and loudly to leave me alone. Heads turned, people looked, and for the first time, his expression had changed. Not fear exactly, but annoyance, like a plan going off script. He stepped back, hands raised, saying he didn't know what I was talking about. The crowd shifted, attention moved on, and he melted into it like he had never been there at all. And I went home shaking, knowing I had worn something small but important. Knowing also that this wasn't a monster or a ghost or a thing that goes away when you stop believing in it. It was just a person. And that's what makes it worse, because people don't disappear. They wait. And I still don't know if he's watching me now, or if I'm just changed forever by knowing how easily someone can step into your life and decide that it belongs to them. But if you're listening to this, and you've ever felt that quiet instinct telling you something is wrong, even when everything looks normal, listen to it. Because the scariest part of my story isn't that he had found me. It's that for too long, I tried to convince myself he hadn't.